The girl. The gun and the blood in the snow.
When I was a teenager, my parents moved to a new town, and I had to go to a new school. There was this really hot girl in my new class that I would do anything to date. In one of my classes, the teacher paired us off to work on our own science projects so we could spend more time together. I figured this was my chance to ask her out. We worked on the project at her house, but when I found out where she lived, I started to have second thoughts. She lived in a small wooden house in the woods. Her mother was gone, and her father was terrifying. He seemed completely insane. He never said a word and acted as if I didn't exist. He walked around the house in his shorts and a t-shirt, drinking beer, chewing tobacco, and tossing a hunting rifle around in his hands. The walls of the house were covered with bear skins, animal heads, deer antlers, and skulls. It was incredibly creepy. At school, a friend of mine told me a rumor about this girl. He said that the girl's father had killed her mother many years ago, but the police could not prove anything, and he got away with it. Her mother was found in the city center, shot with a hunting rifle. The girl had to stay with her father because she had no other relatives. The story really scared me, but there was no way to know if it was true. I was now afraid to meet her. Finally, I managed to pluck up the courage and asked her on a date. To my surprise, she said yes. That evening, I went to her house to pick her up. She opened the door. She was wearing a short skirt. She had done her hair and makeup. She looked gorgeous. As we were about to leave, her father pulled me aside and spoke to me for the first time. "Do you understand what I'll do to you if you touch her?" he growled. Now the story of him killing his wife was spinning around in my head all evening. First, I took the girl to the movies, and then we went to the skating rink. The whole evening, I didn't forget about her father's threat. I was afraid that her dad would kill me when we got back. I just couldn't get those thoughts out of my head. At the end of the evening, I drove her home. When we pulled up to her house, she told me to pull over and turn off the headlights. She wanted a kiss. At that moment, I forgot about her father, leaned over and kissed her. After that, I turned the headlights back on and noticed something strange. There was blood in the snow at the end of the road. At first, I thought I must have imagined it. She seemed oblivious. My heart was pounding. I wanted to tell her I saw blood, but I didn't want to sound stupid. There had to be some logical explanation for all this. I pulled out onto the road and we slowly began to drive up to her house. The blood trail seemed to be getting thicker. I was getting more and more nervous. The girl still hadn't said anything. She was fixing her hair in the mirror. I kept driving, but all I saw was blood, more blood. A chill ran down my spine, and I broke out in a cold sweat. I stopped near her house, and the headlights illuminated a human figure in the street. It was her father. He was standing there, covered in blood, clutching a huge knife in his hand. Something was lying near his feet in a pool of blood, and it resembled a body. Her father began to approach the car. I became worried and began to breathe with difficulty. Suddenly, tears started flowing from my eyes. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I even wet myself because I was sure he was going to kill me. Long story short, they had to take me to the hospital because I was having a panic attack. I found out later that her father had shot a bear by the road that evening. He dragged it to the house and skinned it just as we pulled up to the house. I also found out that her mother didn't die. We're still together, and whenever I see her father, he always brings up that incident and laughs at me.